Hello, beautiful children of the stars. We have the full moon in Virgo on March 9th. That is tonight or tomorrow, depending where you are. And yes, this is another super powerful moon, and it actually is a super moon. We have 4 supermoons this year, and it just means that the way the moon is shining on us with its position according to the sun and the earth and us, it's just really, really powerful, and everything is just gonna get a lot stronger. And before I start, look at this. Oh, thank you so much. I'm getting this beautiful offering of matcha from my beautiful shaman priestess sister who's here. Thank you so much. Thank you. She's sharing her beautiful space with me here on this magical property, and that's why, yes, full moon in Virgo. Virgo is the earth element, so I think it's perfect that we are right here in nature, right?
Hi, everybody. I've heard so much about you.
You've heard a lot about her, and hopefully you'll get to see more of her in the future. You think so?
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah. If you stick around.
Yeah, I'll try. I'll try. Thank you.
Bye.
So you see, magic is in the air. Magic is in the air everywhere. Okay, so while I'm sipping this beautiful matcha tea with oat milk, let's talk about what's really going on under the surface. Now, the first thing you must know about this Virgo super full moon is the following. Everything will get amplified, and all the details, all the hidden things will come to the surface, okay? So think about it. What's going on right now in the world? The collective consciousness is in a state of turmoil. There's a lot going on up there in the collective, and please watch my other video that I did, the last video. That was an energy update, and I talked a little bit about the coronavirus and about the pandemic scenarios that are unfolding in the news and things like that. So the collective truly is not in a good space right now. So it means that if you are very much connected to the collective, if you're connected and buying into the news, that energy, then you also will be affected greatly by this full moon in a negative way. So my prediction for the next few days is that things are going to happen globally. The news, especially about this virus, it's going to explode, and people are going to go a little bit crazy. The stores are going to be raided everywhere, and things are going to get a little bit worse. Okay, that's what I believe is happening in these days. In the next 3 days, it's going to be magnified. So, because this super full moon is magnifying everything, bringing out all the gory details of everything, the first thing you must do is truly stand in your own power and not buy into it, okay? It's very, very important that you find your center, that you stand in your power, that you come to a place of stability before this wave hits. And okay, I'm going to tell you a little story about that, because for me, global energies that come, they affect me a little bit earlier. So a few days ago, I was feeling the effects of this full moon energy already. A lot of people around me were having problems. There was just a lot of upheaval. And that's the reason why I didn't make this video sooner, because I was physically affected by so many things happening. So much trauma, so much drama. This whole week has been like that. Has it been like that for you? And what happened was, I tried to stay in my center in neutral, but I actually got psychically attacked 2 days ago, right? I got a psychic attack. This tea's so good. Helps keep me centered while I'm telling you this. So what happened was that I allowed myself to be affected a little bit by all these different personal problems in my family around me. And I allowed myself to be open to some negative people that I saw. Okay, I allowed myself to go out of my very stable, grounded, protective mode. And some negative people that I have been seeing, they actually sent little entities along with me. And these little entities, when they are around you, And there's always little entities. I'm talking about negative energies, entities, demons, that's what I'm talking about. They are around you and they're looking for openings. Now, you cannot be affected if you are strong and in your center. But if you allow yourself to go into a negative spiral of anger, fear, worry, or a very negative emotion, that's when they can attach. And this is what happened to me. I allowed myself to be triggered. And I was ranting and raving in a very negative emotion, which I haven't done for a while. And this negative entity came in, and in the middle of that night, I had the most horrifying nightmare that I've ever had. Horrifying. I woke up, and I knew this is not my dream. This is not my energy. It's not mine. It's not. And immediately I knew that this was an entity that I had allowed to come in and bring up old traumas, old fears in form of a dream. And I knew this. So I got up. I immediately repelled that entity. I cleared that entity. I looked for the place of origin, and yes, it had come from this very, very negative soul that I had allowed into my energy field. And it had attached to me because I allowed myself to go really, really deep in my negative emotions. I allowed myself to get triggered. And that's how this entity could attach. So you see, you have to be very, very careful and very aware in the next couple of days that you do not allow yourself to be pulled off center. That when things are happening around you, you don't allow yourself to be pulled into trauma, to be pulled into like a dark place where you can't see what's going on. So you have to stay in your center. So the question is, okay, this full moon is transformative, everything is brought to the surface, everything is magnified, what do you do? What you can do instead is you can use these times, the energies of the full moon, to heal and purge. You can use these energies to look deeply in detail at maybe what you haven't healed. Are there things which you haven't wanted to look at? Are there places you didn't want to go? Now is a time where these things will arise, because that's what the full moon does. The full moon in Virgo is very detail oriented, very perfectionist. Virgo likes to look at things, right? So this moon will enable you to look deeply at what is showing up. So some ugly things, these ugly memories, traumas might rear their heads, and you will say, what's going on? Why am I feeling this way? And instead of being pulled into the trauma, look at it. Let it come up and heal this. Allow this to transmute. And that's what the moon will enable you to do, okay? So I bet, okay, leave some comments below, okay? Let me know if it's already happened. Let me know in the last few days, and even today, this very day, let me know what has come up for you. What things have shown themselves that you were not able to see? What details have come to the surface that you're like, oh, I didn't know about this. Wow, okay. What has happened? And are you willing to look at this in detail and maybe work with it and transmute it and take positive action to eradicate this out of your life? Now is the time to do it. In the next, I would say today, okay, the next 4 days, 5 days are very conductive doing your shadow work and to do some real transformation in your life, all right? Because shadow work is basically looking at those places you haven't healed yet, looking at your traumas, looking at some situations that don't seem quite right, looking at the people in your life that you may not be aligned to anymore and you've been putting it off, right? That's the type of stuff that can happen. So are you willing to look at that? Even if you find, like with me, that they're negative psychic attacks. They could come from within, they could come from without. Use that to heal and transmute. When this happened to me, the things that came up in that dream were actually positive because it allowed me to look at some stuff that I still had not completely healed yet. Wow, look at the sunshine. Oh, you can hardly see it there. Is that better? The sun is shining on the camera directly. Okay, let me see if I can change that. Here, I'll give you a beautiful view of the lake. You see that? Let's see here. Let's do it this way. Okay. All right, are you still with me? Are you still with me? I hope so. There, okay. So, not allowing yourself to go into the trauma, in a negative spiral, not allowing the trauma to unfold and take over, but allowing whatever comes up to work through you, to move through you, and for you to take that as a healing process, to make a healing process out of that, to create healing for yourself and let it go, and coming out the other side a different person. And this whole year has been like this. We know, we talk about the Ascension process. We talk about pulling that paradise on earth, that 5D timeline down to us, which is the same thing as us ascending. If we're pulling it down or if we're ascending, it's basically the same thing. And this full moon will enable you to pull out old programs. It'll even allow you to transmute your DNA into a more crystalline structure that will help you ascend, that will help you on your ascension path. Because in order for us to experience ascension, it's basically us moving into a very high vibrational state, higher, 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 aligning ourselves more with our soul, healing all our traumas, getting rid of our karma. That's all part of the ascension process. And every single time of a full moon, where everything is magnified, you can use these energies to do this. And especially now, it's so powerful. I mean, you have been following me for a long time. When did I last tell you I've had a psychic attack? This was about a year ago. This does not happen to me usually. So you can see the magnitude and the power of this full moon, of this time right now. So if you've had these psychic attacks, please, please be awake, be aware, observe yourself. That's why meditation is so important. Are you meditating every day? Are you? Are you doing your work every day? If not, start now. Start doing some good habits now. That's another thing. The time of the full moon is a time where you can start on the habits that will bring you to a higher vibration rate. Start your habit of meditation, of gratitude, of mindful eating and drinking. I personally now am going to start, well, I have already started this last week, of intermittent fasting, trying to be healthier, doing my daily exercise, right? So whatever it is that you need to do to get yourself on the right path, now is a good time to really implement and start taking positive action every single day, okay? So I hope that is making sense to you. And one thing that I can recommend, I'm going to put a link below, Magenta Pixie. She recently talked about this virus and these times and everything that is happening. I can really recommend that video. That explains a lot of what's going on. It's very relevant for this full moon as well. So go check out that video if you want to go deeper into the question of global consciousness, the patterns of those negative energy streams that can affect us every day, how you can keep yourself high vibrational and physically safe as well from infection. She even wrote a book, The Antidote to the coronavirus, any other viruses, and also chemtrails, also vaccines. So I know that these are all themes that are very worrying to us, and we're thinking, how can we keep ourselves positive and moving up all the time with everything that's happening? But it is possible. It is possible. And I know that you have been doing your best, so don't be hard on yourself. You are doing your best. You have been doing your best in every moment. And I just want to support you through these difficult times of the full moon, that stuff is going to happen. Stuff is going to happen. Emotions are going to arise. People are going to go a little bit crazy around you. Transformation wants to happen. You see, this year is not like the other years. 2020 is different. You cannot stop the transformation anymore. You can't stop it. So you might as well use it to transform in a positive way instead of going downhill in a negative timeline, in a negative transformation, because sometimes change happens. And I feel that this year has been like this. And starting with this super full moon, transformation wants to come. Like the seed wants to burst open and grow. Like you can't stop a child from growing, right? The tooth needs to be pulled. So transformation is happening whether you like it or not. And you can stick your head in the sand, pretend it's not happening, and then really, really get stuck in these negative 3D paradigms. Or you can be open and say, yes, I'm going to rip out that tooth. Okay, I'm going to allow myself to grow. I'm going to have growing pains. I'm going to work with these energies. So it's up to you. It's your choice. It's your choice. What do you want to do? Okay? So that is my message for the full moon. I wanted to keep it short. And please start a discussion down there. Let me know what you have been feeling and experiencing. And let me know what you are going to do in the next 3 days to stay calm, to stay centered. What type of shadow work are you going to do? Are you going to just like randomly react to whatever's happening, or are you going to look at a situation, sit down, sit with it, look at it, connect to your heart, connect to your higher self, and ask, how can I transmute this? How does this apply to me? What can I do? How can I transform my life? What new and perhaps scary action can I take to bring my life back into alignment, right? So these are the questions you can ask yourself. It's not that hard doing shadow work. You don't have to be a super spiritual person and have meditated 3 hours a day for 10 years. You can do this no matter where you're at in your spiritual journey, right? It's about just being very present and being aware and slowing down and stopping and not just going going along with this panic spiral of reaction and running, okay? Make yourself a cup of tea, sit with it, sit with what's going on, breathe through it a little bit, and just ask yourself, ask your heart, ask your angels, ask your guides, ask your guidance system, whatever that is. What can I learn from this? How can I become the best version of myself now? What should I do with this situation? Just ask for guidance and the guidance will come. I promise you, it really works. It does. It does. Prost. Okay, well, a last little view here. There you see, those beautiful trees were accompanying us here. Let's see if there's an eagle. Oh, that's a little bird. There's a rowboat right there. Can you see that? There's people rowing here. On the lake. Spring is here. Spring is here. So that is the beautiful energy of beautiful Salt Spring Island where I am. I love you all. I wish you a beautiful, positive, transformative next 3 days. Use this super full moon to your advantage. Okay, do it. And I'll be there to help you. I'll be there to answer questions below. So if you have any questions about it, put them in the comments section. And in the next day or so, I will be there to answer them. Okay? Thank you so much. Love you. Cosmic Empress. Bye.